Hey guys, this is Mel, and I am back to talk about The Flash, episode 509, titled Elseworlds, Part 1, which premiered on a different night, Sunday, December 9th, 2008, on the CW in the spot of Supergirl's normal time slot. But since it is the crossover event, let's get right into it. But remember, huge spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode already, please go do that first. Really go do that first, and then come back and see what I have to say about Part 1. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. Fair warning once again, I haven't read any of the comics, so anything I know about superheroes and stuff is strictly from what was revealed on Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and a little bit of like background information from Smallville, the TV show. I know it's changed stuff, but at least I know like certain names and stuff, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, I'm going to try to do this in 20 minutes because there's no way I can do it in 10. So let's start the clock, and let's begin with what happened in Part 1. So timeline-wise, I honestly think maybe it's shortly after the events of 508. I mean, it doesn't really say specifically how long it's been, considering that this crossover event is supposed to kind of not focus on like what's happening in the main storylines. It's supposed to be as a standalone, but there's no Christmas stuff around, so I don't think it's like that far forward. But anyways, episode reminder, the fact that it is the crossover event, Part 1. So there's that. The villain of the episode, I'm pretty much going to say it's going to be the Amazo, the Ivo robot, and then kind of indirectly it's the Monitor, who's kind of recruited Dr. John Deegan to rewrite reality the way he sees fit. I don't know why particularly him, aside from the fact that he said that he had vision, but like everybody has vision, so like why him particularly? So there's that. But episode breakdown, more I thought about it, I guess you can kind of say it's in 3 different parts, the storylines. First one being Freaky Friday, second one being the visit to Earth 38, and the third one being our heroes versus Amazo the robot. So with the first storyline, we get Oliver and Barry finding out that they have swapped lives. Everyone on Earth thinks that Oliver is now Barry Allen, the speedster of the Flash, and everybody now thinks that Barry is Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow that just got out of prison. So there's that. Also, we find that Oliver, who is now the Flash, doesn't have any of his scars anymore. He has no tattoos, completely free of all of that. But now he has he's pretty much the Flash without the memories of being the Flash, essentially. So there's that. Maybe a little bit of muscle memory, because Barry is seen showing have a little bit of muscle memory in regards to being the Green Arrow, though he doesn't have the Green Arrow memories and stuff, right? So there's that. So with Barry, he now has Oliver's scars and tattoos and stuff like that. Plus also, he's shown training at the Argus facility. We also see him in the season 1, season 2 old hideout that was underneath Verdant from the looks of it, because I don't think it was under the bunker that was under the old mayor campaign office, because Sam Lander was still there, and like one of the setup was similar to one of the older bunkers. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. Also, another side thing, Diggle was the only one from Arrow that was shown outside of Oliver in this episode as well. So there's that. But anyways, I'm getting so off focus here though. But with Oliver and Barry switch, they're kind of trying to teach each other different things. So Oliver reveals that he channels his survival and anger whenever he's the Green Arrow. He also reveals that his ligaments were trained by Anatoly Knizev for the art of escape. So like every time he's breaking bones and stuff to help him do so, it's not really there's no question for him to do it. Like we see Barry in question, like I'm not gonna break my thumb to get out of handcuffs, and Oliver's like, you do it, because like it doesn't like phase him to make that type of move. Excuse the pun there. But there's that. Now with Barry though, we find out that he reveals that he runs faster when he's happy, because mainly when he's running towards something, towards his loved ones, towards happier times. So he finds like when he runs, he lets go of all like the negative energies and thoughts, and so that he can move faster. Also, we see Barry having fun with the idea of being the Green Arrow and being Oliver Queen, until he realizes that with him being Oliver Queen, that means Oliver is Barry Allen, who is married to Iris West. And you see that switch so quickly. The moment he's like all funny games, like, oh, you gotta admit this is pretty cool. And then Oliver lets it slip that, well, he woke up with Iris. And then Barry's like, wait, what? He's like, no, we gotta fix this. There's no way I'm letting that happen. So that was funny right there. Okay, moving on to the second storyline, because I'm going to go way off topic when I keep talking about comparisons between the two. But we visit Smallville, Kansas on Earth 38 because we see Kara visiting her cousin Clark over at his family farm. And they first really introduced this scene while playing the old theme song from Smallville, the TV show. And that just said goosebumps and like memories all over again. It was just like, somebody save me and all that. And I can't sing. I'm so sorry about that though. But like that theme song, you know, it really puts you back, like, you know. Plus we also meet Lois Lane for the first time in the Arrowverse. They pinpoint the fact that her and Clark just returned from Argo City, and she's been itching to write that story, but Clark's a little worried about, like, well, how are they going to explain why Lois went to Argo in the first place, right? But also, we see in this trip that Kara updates Clark about her dismissal from the DEO, and that was because the president had asked her to reveal her identity, which she refused to do so, which is understandable, and Clark reassured her that we keep our identity so that the loved ones we have are safe, which is very true as well. So anyways, and then they get a visit from Barry and Oliver because Kara still remembers that Barry is Barry and Oliver is Oliver, except now they have swapped each other's lives somehow. So there's that. Third storyline, we get the heroes meeting, well, I guess everyone I'm going to include, but versus Amazo the robot, who has this ability to copy the abilities of his opponent. And apparently he's infused with some Mirku hybrid or something. I have no idea, but it sounds crazy. But we do see him, originally, Oliver accidentally awokened it when he was dealing with a robbery at the Ivo lab. And then we see Killer Frost and Elongated Man being confronted with Amazo before it copied Killer Frost's powers. Not sure if it copied Ralph's powers, but we don't see it use his elongation skills at all, so I'm not sure. And then later on, we see our super quartet of the Green Arrow, the Flash, Superman, and Supergirl going against Amazo, where all their powers are copied, or all their skills are copied as well, too, because I don't know what they would have gotten from the Green Arrow otherwise. And then only to have a kryptonite computer virus arrow being shot into its eye to defeat it. So there's that. So the last moments of the episode see Cisco sharing the vibe he got of the Monitor, giving the book to Dr. Deegan. And with this, Oliver realizes that they need to go to Gotham City, and he's going to take Barry and Kara with him. And at this point, Clark has returned to Earth 38, because he doesn't want to leave their world unprotected if both super cousins are on Earth 1. So there's that. So moving on to tidbits now. There's quite a few than I normally have, but we found out that during Oliver's time in prison, Felicity had confided in Iris about how Oliver got to prison, how he made a deal with the FBI and never told her about it, and how that really affected Felicity and all that. So there's that. We also find out that Oliver does not know who Cicada is, which is rightfully so since he's been in prison for the last 7 months. So there's that. We find out that Sherlock's third ex-wife is on Earth 38, so he gives his late alimony check to Clark to deliver to the ex-wife, which I thought was funny. So there's that. Next, we got that Barry got his training revenge on Oliver when he got Oliver shot in the back with hidden crossbows, like Oliver did years previously when he was training Barry on how to canvas his surroundings. So it was interesting how they did the whole callback thing there, but it definitely, it was not funny whatsoever at all. So there's that. We do also see initially Barry being blamed for the switch predicament that him and Oliver were in, because when Oliver is first wearing the Flash suit, he's like, well, Barry, what have you done this time? Type of thing, which was funny because, like, of course, you would assume that it was something timeline related, right? So there's that. Also, we see Iris drugging Oliver, who's the speedster this time, with nanites, and they were provided by Ray Palmer. So there's that. Wonder how they got that from him, considering he's now dealing with his own fractured timeline issue over on Legends. So there's that. Also, we do find out from the vibe from Cisco that the Monitor didn't think that Earth 1 had people of substantial power there, which is why he brought the book here in the first place. And then he continued to say that there's no way of stopping what's already been set in place. So there's that. Moving on to most shocking moment of the episode. Honestly, the whole crossover thing with a whole bunch of like spoilers and leaks and stuff that have been going on, you kind of get the gist. But I would have to say, for some reason, maybe it's because of the reaction it got from me, was the Smallville theme song playing. I mean, it was just like, it brought back memories. Goosebumps came when I heard that song again. And honestly, I forgot that Smallville was the name of the city Clark grew up in, because I naturally associated with that being the title of the TV show. So it just threw me off. And then when I read it in the synopsis where it said like they go to Smallville, it's like, wait, did I read that right? Just because like I assume he technically lived in Metropolis, but I guess he doesn't. He has the speed to go back and forth, right? So anyways, that was my most shocking moment. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments, I definitely have more than 3. I mean, can you really blame me? First one being that we got to see the team up between Flash, Green Arrow, Superman, and Supergirl, all against Amazo the Robot. I really love the fact that Barry, as the Green Arrow, was taking charge and giving strategic orders, just like Oliver would. Plus, essentially, they're meant to like play their roles, which is pretty much a reminder of Supernatural, when Sam and Dean are constantly pushed in these alternate realities, especially Changing Channels, episode 508, where they're put in these many different television scenarios and like play the part you're meant to play type of thing. So that's pretty much what Barry and Oliver have to do now that they have each other's respective skills. But it was very interesting to see Barry take on that leadership position in this sense, with like the serious like tones and stuff, but also being strategic about it too. So it was very, very great to see that. I also love him in the Green Arrow suit. I mean, like, the Green Arrow outfit between him and the Flash is, I don't like the Flash suit this season. I don't know if it's just because it's too bright red. I like the like season 1, season 2 suits for the Flash. But with Green Arrow, his suits constantly get better and better each season. So I love Barry in his version of the Green Arrow suit. It's just like, yes. And then the added tattoos and like the scars we got to see of him, huge bonus right there. But anyways, it was just very cool to see Barry as a Green Arrow, and then just to see Oliver try to be the lightheartedness from the Flash was pretty cool too. Also, considering that he's been in some very dark times in the last 7 months, specifically with his time in prison, so it's just great to see him playing a little fun with it too. So there's that. Also about Barry and Oliver, from another favorite, was the fact that we got to see them each guiding each other on how to use their respective skills. So whether it was using using how to phase, how to use their speed, how to escape. We got a little prison escape bonding between, because I think they both used the toilet at one point for some escape route or something. But we got a bit of that. We got to see some trick arrow training and stuff like that. It was just really great to see how they each try to teach the other how to use their skills, but also planning ahead in accordance to what they knew the other one was capable of doing. So I really like that. And I really hope that this moment they do, like after they've got their respective lives back, I really hope that what they learn from each other in this experience, they do carry it over as they continue in their own respective lives, just to grow more, like, essentially. I'll get back to that one later though. But also, I distinctly like, as another favorite, Oliver at the very end distinctively asking for Caitlyn's opinion, because like everyone was giving like their opinions about like what happened, their thanks and stuff about dealing with the Mazo and stuff, and then out of all of it, Oliver specifically asked for Caitlyn if she has anything to add in anything. And while she didn't have anything to add, she said when she has confirmation or when she has something solid, she'll let them know, type of thing. But I love the fact that Oliver, who's supposed to technically be Barry in this current moment, is asking her for her opinion instead of just letting her silence be. And I was just like, oh, I so appreciated that. So like that was it. That was a memorable moment for me there. Also, another memorable moment was Sherlock's comment of the fact that, well, like, Amazo's a computer, so just turn it off. And then Cisco's like, oh my god, I hate it when you're right. And it's just like, Sherlock was just so calm in it. It's like, well, it's a computer. Turn it off. It's like, how else do you plan to defeat a computer? And it was just funny, especially when Cisco had just previously made a Terminator reference, I believe. So it was like, that was fun right there too. And another favorite moment of mine is just the fact that I got to see Oliver struggling to reassure the West Allen coupleness. There is just like him wanting no PDA with Iris, which was just hilarious. Also, him refusing to use the lightning rod line that Barry told him to use to convince Iris. And he's like, no, I'm not going to say that. It's just like, yes, thank you, Oliver. Also, when Iris was trying to like be all lovey-dovey with her husband, and Oliver's just like no, and then Barry's just staring at him, and Oliver's like, I didn't touch her. It's like that was her. And then Barry's like furious, like yes, like Oliver does not want to get in the middle of that. So it's just like I appreciate that there as well. And then it was just like, and then also I love the fact that Oliver would just comment on the fact that for once, can you not just like figure out a situation without having like your wife constantly in your ear, or how like needing all like this pep talk and stuff. And then like Barry does comment on the fact that, well, Felicity's been helping you this whole time, and then which made me furious because no, that was not the case. But I just like Oliver nitpicking at West Allen so much in the moment, and it's just like, yes, I needed this. I just needed someone to point it out because no one else is gonna do it. So thank you. And I know last year I was all for West Allen and stuff, but like this past year, it's just like a lot of stuff has really tipped it over the edge for me not to be as supportive. Like, I'll be okay with it when it still shows, but it's still not my number one ship. I'll leave it at that. But let's move on to top 3 peeve moments, which does get into it. But like, first, I'll get into that later. But the first thing is, for peeve, I would have to say is the fact that this actually still felt like a Flash episode. I mean, it was distinctly the Flash, and we just only got like Oliver, Diggle, Kara, Clark, and Lois as guest stars on here. While last year in the Crisis of Earth X episode events, you couldn't tell which episode was Supergirl, which one was Arrow, which one was Legends, or which one was the Flash, because the same amount of people were crossing over to all the different parts of the show. It really felt like one solid 4 parts. Like, it wasn't like distinctly, oh, this is the Arrow episode, or distinctly, oh, this is the Flash episode. Like, you couldn't tell unless you knew the actual chronological order of the episodes which part was meant to be for what show. Well, for this one, you could tell because the majority of the Flash cast was in this episode. So, like, yeah, this is the Flash episode. It's probably going to be the same thing with, like, Arrow and with Supergirl, but it's pretty much like what happened with the Dominator crossover when they had distinctly Flash, Arrow, and Legends, and you knew which set was for what. So I guess that was a peeve, because after last year, where how so seamless it was of a merger, I just kind of hoped it would be the same thing for this crossover, but it didn't do that in this first part. So that was a bummer there for me. Another peeve for me was the fact that we got the knowledge that Iris got a call from Felicity, and she was like learning about Felicity's concerns about Oliver. And I just don't get why. I mean, like, Felicity was first off friends with Caitlyn, and like they have more in common and stuff like that. But now I just don't see them communicating with each other anymore. It just seemed like once Felicity and Iris got married, or once like they started dating their respective guys who are friends, they then started becoming friends. It's just like, it's just because honestly, Felicity is more Barry's friend than she is Iris's friend. So I don't get why that she would call Iris. I mean, if anything, she could have called Barry and confided in him about Oliver and stuff, right? But like, I don't know. That tidbit about knowing that Felicity had called Iris to confide in her about her struggles with Oliver in prison, it didn't sit right with me. I didn't like it. So I'll leave that peeve there. And another peeve, also huge one, I should have said first, but it was the fact that Iris told Barry, who she still, well, the world still thinks it's Oliver, but Barry, she told him not to lose himself in the facade of the Green Arrow that he is now, mainly because that whole scene where he was shooting the virus kryptonite arrow, and he said, you failed this city to Amazo, and like he really took on the seriousness of the Green Arrow. Iris just did not look like she approved of that role play for him. And it was just like, I feel like if Barry were to take what he learned as the Green Arrow and try to incorporate it, or try to make him better as the Flash after all this is done and said, I think that Iris would not appreciate that. She doesn't want any aspect of the darkness that comes with Oliver Queen to be seeped into Barry. And I honestly think that's not fair, because especially as a hero, for being a hero that Barry is, there's got to be stuff that it's hard for him to hold in deep, and it's just like, it still amazes me that he's still able to keep his the laughter and levity in his life, whereas for Oliver, it was, the darkness did consume him. But then that's like with, like, what is it, 12 years of trouble and pain now, right? So it's understandable. But it just really bugged me that Iris is telling Barry, like, don't be consumed in the role you're playing right now. Don't lose yourself in this facade that is not you. And I just feel like you can't ask him to do that, because at the end of the day, for me as a fan, I would want Barry to learn something from being the Green Arrow, and I want him to be able to take that with him when he becomes the Flash again and incorporate whatever he learned to make himself better as the Flash. I don't want him to walk away from all this and not learn anything valuable from it. It's just like that, then it would just seem pointless. Like, what was the whole point of him becoming this? So I'd really hope that he would be able to learn something from it. So there's that. So moving on to what moment I remember most when I look back on this episode, the fact that it's crossover part 1 for sure, dead giveaway right there. It's also technically the mid-season finale now for the Flash, so we won't see the Flash again until after the new year. So keep that in mind there. But moving on to random questions very quickly, and there's the timer. Wow, I didn't realize I talked a lot, so there's that. So random question: if Dr. Deegan reimagined the world the way that he did, then how were Barry and Oliver the only ones unaffected, with their memories still intact, yet their lives have swapped? Like, why were they the ones not affected? I mean, like, when he opened the book, he said, like, I could see everything. Does that mean, like, he saw, like, everybody's, like, secret identities, what they were capable of, everyone's lives all enfolded him, like, as if he were God, in a sense, and then, like, he just rewrote the world the way that he did? I mean, if that's the case, why not just really reshape the world the way you wanted to? Why, like, only swap those 2 lives, right? So, like, that confuses me there. Also, another question is, was it ever said which Earth Sherlock is from? I mean, if he has a wife on Earth 38, I'm assuming he would be on Earth 38, unless he has all 7 of his wives from different Earths. I mean, that's, how exactly does he do that, right? Or does he always just take contract jobs from different Earths? Because he has been to 36 of them, so I'm wondering if that's how he met his different wives. I'm also wondering if all of his different wives are technically the same woman, just on different Earths. I'm wondering that too now that I think about it. So there's that. Another question though, where was Nora? I mean, I found it a little weird that she wasn't in this episode, but the only explanation I could think of for her absence is that she's still in 2041 talking with Eobard Thawne that's in a cell, who she's been corresponding with through her journal. So that's the only reason why I could think Nora is not there. Otherwise, I would have loved to see how Nora calling Oliver who she thinks is her dad, and like his reaction to, because he wouldn't know that Barry's daughter came back from the future. He'd be like, what the fuck? Who the hell are you? Type of thing. I would have loved to see that. But otherwise, I'm glad Nora wasn't in this episode, because then that's too many questions there. But then also, because she's been in the previous 8 episodes, I'd be wondering, like, why wasn't she? Like, where was she, right? When she's been glued to Barry's side this whole time, it's like, why wasn't she in this episode? So there's that. Okay, last question. When Amazo the Robot copied the powers of the 4 superheroes, did anyone else think that this is where the evil Superman could have emerged from? Like the one all the promos are showing with Superman in the black caped costume and stuff. I mean, I hope that it was Amazo the Robot that was the evil Superman, because then if not, then that means the possibility of Clark actually becoming evil is a lot greater now. And I actually do want to see good Superman versus evil Superman head on head together, instead of just our heroes against the evil Superman and there only being one version of it. But yeah, for some reason that's kind of what popped in my head in the moment when they said that he copies their powers. Like, maybe he could copy something else from them. But there's that. So moving on to predictions very quickly, because they're definitely not going to show the promo for Flash 510. I am going to talk about the promo for part 2 of the crossover, which is Arrow episode 709. And the crossover promo showed Kara and Caitlyn teaming up in Arkham Asylum from the looks of it. We also see Barry and Cisco teaming up, and they run into Batwoman. They also see them name-dropping Batman, so they are aware of Batman. But for some reason, they do meet Batwoman. Now, here's the thing, though. I do not know if Batwoman is a result of reality being written, or if there was always a Batwoman in the version of reality that Barry and Oliver come from. So that's a question there, because Barry's the one that says the Batman term, like he's not Batman. And then if Cisco had said it, then like, yeah, then maybe that could have said it. But anyways, there's that. But the synopsis for part 2 reads that with Oliver and Barry still stuck in the other's bodies, the two get a lead on John Deegan and head to Gotham City with Supergirl to figure out why their reality has changed. While there, they meet the mysterious Kate Kane, guest star by Ruby Rose, who provides them with information that leads the group to Arkham Asylum. So there's that. Also, what the weird thing is that it says that when Barry and Oliver are still stuck in each other's bodies. They didn't swap bodies, though. They swapped each other's lives. It's not like when Sam experienced his own body swap in Supernatural 512, where literally everybody saw him looking like the kid Gary, but yet in his own reflection, Sam saw himself. So it's not like that. Everyone actually thinks that Stephen Amell is Barry Allen and Grant Gustin is Oliver Queen. It's not like everyone else still sees Grant as Barry and Stephen as Oliver, and they just swapped reflections. Like, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. So there's that. But yeah, otherwise, I'm still waiting for where Alex still mistakenly believes that Kara isn't her sister. We're probably not going to get that until Supergirl Part 3. But I'm still waiting for that since we already got the other 2 moments of Barry and Oliver waking up in another reality. We already got those sneak peeks already from the first part. So there's that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it, guys. What do you guys think of Part 1? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. Link for that is down below. I revlog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff. All found in one place. Go check that out. This time, I'll include all the Tumblr links for all 3 parts of the crossover, as well as the tag that I specifically have for the crossover. So check that out if you want. Also, a WordPress account, link for that is down below. Everything I post online is attached to my WordPress account. It's more organized, it's more detailed, but it's still a work in progress, so please keep that in mind. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back to see what I have to say about Part 2. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.